We're just going to cook some simple things today, right? But we want to give you the basics, right? Like more of a philosophy, you know, than a hard recipes. And of course, we're going to learn the art of chapatis, which I've already covered. So first of all, we're going to make a chapati dough, right? Sebastian here has milled this grain, which is lovely. And what it is that it's buckwheat, millet, and wheat. So it's very low gluten. So still, if you're a celiac, you can't have it. But most of us will be able to digest it easily. Okay? So we'll make up a big dough, because if it doesn't, every kitchen needs a flour mill, because you get grain with full fibre, fresh fats, protein, and full fibre. When you buy flour from the shop, there's no fibre, the fats are rancid, the protein's denatured, and you'd be lucky to get a rat to eat. And I have a secret here, which I use just a little of. It's just a little bit of organic white flour, just to hold it together. You know, not much, just a tablespoon. You know, just to hold it together, and just so people won't call me a fanatic. You know, and because it's not good to be a fanatic, is it? Not too fanatical. So I like fanatics. So there's a little bit of salt. And so what I do in the dough, I like to use yogurt. It gives it body. Oh, sorry. I should be telling you measurements, shouldn't I? But what it is, it's the dough. It's what you get. So I will show you the dough as it comes. Would you go get me a glass of purified water from the kitchen?
No problem.
Thanks, Sebastian. Now, a really interesting thing is, if you use yogurt in your chapati dough, it won't go black. If you use water, it'll oxidise and go black. So the natural bacteria in the yogurt keeps the chapatis light and stops oxidation. Yeah, because you know, if you leave it something in the fridge long when it's got a black coating, it's not too inviting, is it? A little bit of water is okay. And what I'll do is I'll show you the consistency of this dough. I'll send a lump around, and you can all, and it must sit. You can't, that's why we're doing it first. Because you can't make a chapati dough and make chapatis. It must sit. So, it needs to be a nice dough where it's not workable. You know, in other words, if you put it anywhere, it's going to stick. But not too wet. But I'll send a sample around for you, okay? So the chapati dough, and you know what I find with the chapati dough is, if you leave it, you put it in the fridge, but if you leave it out of the fridge for 4-6 hours, it makes it lighter. It starts to become, what do they call that? Picks up the yeast. Yeah. Yeah, it's lovely. And of course you can just always smell it. And if it smells good, that's a good fermentation. If it smells bad, you throw it away. So, you need a good plain white flour for the ball. Don't use self-raising. I put quite a bit on because we're doing it here. And here's the dough over here. There's the skillet. So we'll roll up some chapatis, just to give them an idea of size. Some people get them round. I don't. Sometimes I do. So I'll show you this just to give you an idea. You know, but that's what you're looking for. These skillets you can get from Indian shops as well. Gita, Fortitude Valley. So what you do is you turn it over a few times, You can touch it if you like. And what the Indian ladies do, they'll generally have a damp cloth, and they sometimes press it with a damp cloth.
So that's a dry pan. That's
Dry pan. Yeah, this is a dry bread.
And then they got some onion slices and put into the fold up and fold on.
So then it's out of the fry pan, straight on there. Sorry, Sebastian. And then you can put a little bit of ghee on it, a little bit of butter. There you go. A few burns are great. But you'll see, we'll send it around for you to feel, right? But be careful. I'll tell you a secret. If you cook a chapati and it puffs up right, and you put it in front of, say, one of your children or your husband or something, and he goes with the finger, it can burn your finger like unbelievably. The air in that can be so hot. So be careful. But that's ready to break now, but just get a feel of it. You can break a bit off if you like. Yeah, if you like, but you can see how it's lovely and it's not glue and goo, and you can hand that around, Jill.
Do you have to do the grill part straight away? Or can you cook all of them in the pan?
No.
And you have to do all
Got it straight away fresh. Sometimes I cook chapatis for the workforce, and you can cook, say, 10 and put them in a plate, and they're nice and warm and soft. But you've got to do that process as it comes.